Originally it was because we were looking for something else to do with our lives. I work, Jocelyn works, we both work for other people and have always worked for other people. So there was a strong push to be self-employed.
Independent and not feel a little bit more satisfied with what we were doing instead of just going and working for somebody else and coming home.
Yeah, and specifically for me it was, I've been working for other people and starting businesses for a long time, and realized that it was time to sort of stop complaining about the decisions my boss has made and start making my own decisions. So really to be my own boss was a big part of it. And I've been in manufacturing for a long time, and manufacturing is exhausting. So we both have always had an interest in retail and have talked lots of times about what would make a really cool store.
Well, I guess in Denmark it means hot and cold. But my last name's Hatt and her last name's Kulik. So we just sort of shortened it up and Hatt and Kul.
We wanted to call it mustard at first, but no one liked that. So
we liked it.
We liked it.
Yeah. We looked at 8 different places, I think, in town. And it was difficult. Different landlords were different prices. Yeah, it was hard, actually.
Yeah. This is an incredible space, and we started looking, I think, in April, and there was very few spaces available in Wolfville at that time. So we started looking at the available spaces, and just because things were happening that proved out to be really fortunate for us, we didn't take the space. And then we looked at other spaces that came up as they came up. And fortunately, we just kind of couldn't make up our minds, or things intervened to keep us from making a decision until this space came available. Yeah. And so it was just a really good...
And it was perfect. The landlords are awesome, the price was right, the location was great, the windows are wonderful. That was a big thing. So, and we want to be on Main Street.
The actual store was a month. We started the whole project in April. So we spent a long time developing a business plan.
Researching our lines.
Yeah. And, getting the financial statements that the bank and the people that lent us the money needed to see. That was pretty intensive. So we started back in April. The actual store, we took possession on the 15th, so it was 1 month. And getting stock was challenging, like actually getting it physically here took a month, and we didn't expect it to take a month.
No. Not that we really knew what to expect, because I've never done anything like this. Michelle's ordered things, but not clothing, not from the clothing industry. Yeah, so it's a completely different ballpark.
Very much a lot of the people we're working with work in seasons, and I'm used to ordering raw materials that are available at all times, so you just call them up and place your order and it comes in. This has got a lot more to do with when they're cutting, when they're sewing, and then nobody's actually said to me, but I believe that you get placed on a priority list. And, we just weren't at the top of anybody's priority list. So there were issues with that. Once we've established ourselves as being a good customer, I think we won't encounter such difficulties. But it was hard to get some reps to take us seriously.
Because we're so small starting out.
And didn't actually even have, they wanted to see pictures of the location, or, I didn't have a fax machine, phone number, because we weren't here. And so those things made us seem maybe not so solid.
And I think also because we're ordering from companies that don't have big warehouses full of stuff. A lot of them are one-of-a-kind things, so it does take longer. They can't just go to the warehouse and pick it out and send it off to us.
And the companies that do have more of a setup like that were easy, and Foxy Originals is one. You can tell that they do have a warehouse full of inventory and that they have stock on the shelves. Spun bamboo. But the stuff that's, like Dustin said, one of a kind, or that goes by seasons, that was really difficult. And we opened in October, so we should have been ordering fall last January, but we weren't. We were ordering it once we had money. There's no point ordering it if you don't have the money to pay for it. So those things were sort of against us, but we won't encounter those things next year, and again, once we establish ourselves, we'll be in a better position.
Research?
Yeah, mostly online, and we're both interested in cool things, and some of the lines I'd been aware of from my other job, I'd come across them, and magazines, going into websites that, like online stores that offer green products or interesting products, and then finding out who the supplier was and just backtracking.
Yeah, there's a lot of websites out there with great resources that sort of have lists and lists and lists of ethical stores and ethical clothing.
There's treehugger.
I was on there today again.
Lots of blogs too, where people talk about stuff they've gotten. When we started, actually, this wasn't what we had envisioned doing. We just wanted to open a really cool clothing store, and we were going to carry more Canadian designers, and looked at really neat designers that we both really liked. And sort of midway through that research stage, just took a little shift and went.
I think we came across a really cool designer in LA that had some bamboo and other things, and then we really liked her stuff, so we started searching other options, and then we got really interested.
And once you sort of start down that path and find that there's lots of stuff available and lots of really neat stuff, why go the other way?
Yeah.
So we did find some lines that we liked, and we would ask, well, where is it made? And we were getting the answer, it's all made offshore, made in Asia, and well, tell us something about the place where it's made, and they wouldn't be able to answer those questions. So we decided that because we wanted to be in Wolfville, and Wolfville is the first fair trade town in Canada, so it was obviously a really nice match to go with ethically sourced products. It's not all necessarily fair trade or all necessarily environmentally friendly. There's lots of different stories, and there's lots of different things that different suppliers support or promote that we thought would be also good for us to promote. So some of the product's fair trade, some of the product is uses organic fabrics.
Some of it's just certified sweatshop free.
The line of jewelry that we're carrying out of Toronto is made in a jewelry factory in Toronto. So obviously for us it's important to support the domestic industry as well. And I think sometimes people get too caught up in fair trade being about coming from offshore in depressed areas. Certainly we need to have a strong domestic manufacturing industry. And because my background is manufacturing, I feel pretty strongly about that. So it's nice to see that there is a resurgence of manufacturing in Canada. And it seems to be going sort of this way, that there's a resurgence in areas, factories that might have been defunct or went out of business, or there's one in Quebec, and they're going to manufacture fair trade t-shirts. And we don't think of fair trade coming out of Quebec, but why not? They're bringing in organic cotton, and they pay fair wages, and they're employing people in their community. So those are really important things to support.
Wherever they are in the world.
Yeah. And we also have brought in local products from local manufacturers, so that there's a nice rounded mix. There's stuff, we have baskets coming in from Ghana and stuff from Cambodia, and there's denim that's made in Los Angeles, and clothes that are done in Colombia, Toronto, Wolfville,
Newfoundland,
New Brunswick.
My chest, my sweetness, carrying slowness of the time, I'll get you ready.